Hello, this is Petter Michelson for Info 1010, Phase 4 of the project. This is my first diagram showing life expectancy versus GDP per capita, with the population being the bubble size. I chose these because I wanted to look if GDP per capita increased life expectancy or not, if there was a correlation between those two. I'll just bring it back to 1980 here. So you see they're all kind of clumped together down there. See the countries there, which I chose: Bangladesh, Brazil, China, Colombia, Germany, Japan, Kenya, Norway, UK, and the US. See the indicators there with the numbers. So yeah, and see the US and Japan just starting kind of a little above each other. And now if we see them move towards the right top corner, that means that there's a correlation, and it looks like it. See some like Kenya moving down left, but most of them moving up to the right. And here's 2010. You see Norway kind of up there by itself, but you mainly see all the first world countries kind of together here, which is not very surprising. And you see China has a really large population, so it's kind of hard for them to have a high GDP per capita, and it's also probably much cheaper living there, so they're pretty much there too, or at least they're getting closer. And you see Kenya down to the left, which is kind of worst of all, which is not surprising because it's in Africa. It's where most of the third world countries are. Yeah, and you have Colombia there, kind of in the middle, not too bad. So yeah, we'll move on to diagram 2. Here's the second diagram. I chose GDP per capita as the bubble size, and urban population percent versus population density, which I mainly want to see if the high GDP per capita countries had a higher urban population percentage or population density, just see how they correlate together. And yeah, just wanted to check that out and see how that correlated. I think I'm just gonna take it back to 1980 here first and then run it. You can see Kenya, China, and Bangladesh kind of very much to the left here, and not much GDP per capita. You see all these countries to the right here, the first world countries kind of growing in GDP, while the China and Kenya and Bangladesh kind of stay the same. You see, yeah, so now we're in 2010. You can see them, first world countries here, kind of together, which is not surprising again. But you can see here how the urban population percentage is affecting the GDP per capita. They're all around 80%, and they all have the most GDP. So that tells you that the countries with high urban population percentage have high GDP as well. So let's go to the next diagram here in a bit. Or you can see China too, kind of in the middle there, getting closer. 50% urban population, but it's a very large country, so it's not that surprising. And you see Bangladesh with a high urban population density. Next diagram. So here I wanted to mostly check out the GDP growth, which is interesting because it shifts a lot from positive to negative, and just see how life expectancy and population density correlated with that. because I thought that GDP growth is interesting because it kind of shows you the development of the countries year by year, how they did kind of each year in terms of GDP, and just see how that correlated with life expectancy and population growth. So what I noticed, you'll see a lot of shifting, countries going back and forth from negative to positive. You see here we go. Whoa, that was okay. And then it goes. Yeah, you can see them shifting a lot here. See, China is basically very much to the right all the time, which is not surprising because they had a pretty big rise in GDP and over the last couple of years. So yeah, and you saw also there in 2008, 2009 how it shifted very much left. So that's it.